Hey YouTube, welcome to Juicy Talk. Juicy Talk is my second YouTube channel where I'm mainly going to be doing story times and girl talks. Okay, so if you love a good story time and if you love a good girl talk, make sure you tap in, make sure you subscribe because you're going to love it here. And by the way, my name is Jasmine and I'm just so excited about starting a second channel. My other channel, I kind of figured out what I want to do with that channel. And so for this channel, I'm going to strictly do my story times and my girl talks. And the reason behind doing these videos is mainly because I just want to spread the lessons that I've learned. Like I want to share my testimonies. I want to share my experiences that I've been through with other people, and hopefully that someone else picks up what I put down and they learn something from it. So anyways, with that being said, I will be periodically taking sips of my wine. And yeah, so if you're ready to get into it, sit back and relax and enjoy the story. So by the title of the story, I'm not really 100% sure what I'm going to call this video yet, but by the title of this story, I think I'm going to call it When Dating an Older Man Goes Wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because I remember when I was in my early 20s, I would date a lot of guys my age at the time, but then I made this observation and I felt like, you know what, guys my age, they just play games, they just want to mess around, they say they want to be with you, but then they talking to the next girl. And I wanted to be with someone who was ready to settle down, who already, played those type of games, and to those who had play games and stuff. So I wanted someone who wanted to settle down. So I said, you know what? I'm only going to talk to older guys. So let's take it back to 2015, right? This is 23-year-old Jazz. I'm in my 30s now, but this is when I was in my early 20s. At the time, I remember I was just coming out of a relationship. I had a boyfriend who he was a little bit older than me. He was maybe like 28 and I was 23. But he just came off as like emotionally unavailable. And so he lived at his mom's house, child, and he would always play his games. Like, we hardly went anywhere, and I was just got tired of it. I was just like, you know what, I'm done. I was moving into a new apartment, and I think what was the last straw for him was the fact that like he didn't really like offer to help me. He wanted me to ask him to help me move. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little spoiled, okay? What some would call this spoiled. I'm a little spoiled, and I only require princess treatment. So if you're not offering to help me, then I don't know what we're doing. And that might sound toxic, but hey, it is what it is. But anyways, so long story short, I'm moving to a new place. I'm breaking with him. So I'm just like, you know what? I got a new chapter going on, right? So I have my own little routine. At the time, I didn't have a car. Or did I have a car? I can't remember if I had a car. Oh, no. I didn't have a car. And y'all forgive me because this was well over 10 years ago. Like, this is like 11 years ago. So anyways, at the time, I did not have a car, but I did have a job. Thank God my job was up the street. And at the time, I was a CNA. and I made enough money. I made enough money to take care of myself. I didn't have any kids. It was just me. And yeah, I was just happy to be starting a new beginning. Before I moved into my apartment, I was renting out a room with these other college students. And so once I was able to afford my own place, that's what I did. So there was um my job was close to my house. It was walking distance. It was like a block away. It wasn't far at all. And yeah, I was doing pretty good to me for myself at the time. So, um one day I was outside and I was looking at the apartments next door to me because I was feeling like maybe eventually I can move to something that was more newer. Okay, because my apartment at the time, like, they were like kind of old, but I was still grateful to have the place nonetheless because it was my own place. So, anyways, I went outside and I was looking at these apartments, and I remember talking to this lady. She was telling me about like her apartment, and she lived on the same block as me, and she was telling me what she thought about those apartments and everything. And then while we were talking, I noticed it was like this guy, he was walking by, right? It was this cute guy walking by, but I didn't pay him no attention. I didn't pay him no mind. So yeah, it was this guy. I didn't pay him no mind or anything. Um, but like I said, I was just curious about the apartments next door to me. So once I got done talking to her, I was just looking around at the apartment building, and then he already passed me going one direction, and then once I was done talking to her, he came back past me another direction. And so as he was walking past me, I was like, "Excuse me, do you know anything about these apartments?" And then he was just like, well, I do know, like, they've been around for a while, like, maybe since 1992." And mind you, he looked very young. And so I was like, 1992? How old are you? And so then he told me, he was 30. That's what he told me, right? So then, I was just like, okay, you don't look like it. But I'm not flirting. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a Gemini. Like, we are social people, and a lot of times us being so social, it is mistaken as flirting. And I just like to talk. Like, if I'm in the mood to socialize, I like to socialize. But it's not necessarily flirting, but it still gets me in trouble. So anyways, I'm like, okay, well, you don't look like it, but you look good for your age. However old you are, you don't look like it. Like, you look like you my age. So fast forward, he ends up asking me for my number. We exchange contact information, and then I'm kind of like, at the time, I'm kind of like, I guess I'm a little excited because, I was like, you know what, I'm moving on. I had left so and so behind, and now I'm already backing up somebody else young girl mentality, okay? Immature mentality. Now, as far as the guy, since he's going to be one of the characters in the story, we're going to call him Jay. Okay, we're going to call him Jay. So, yeah, so Jay had ended up hitting me up later. Jay had ended up hitting me up later that day, and we went out to get something to eat and something, we just went out for like lunch or something like that. And then we were talking. And as we were talking, sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I had got a call. But, anyways, where were we? So, as we were talking, I remember asking him, um, like a little bit about his past and stuff like that. And I was asking him, so, like, what year did you graduate? Since, you're 30, I'm 23. Like, what year did you graduate, right? So then he tells me he graduated in 2001. And instantly I'm doing the math and I'm like, honey, the math is not math in 2001 and you're 30. What happened? Like, did you graduate late? Like, what happened? So then that was red flag right there. He told me that, okay, he was like, okay, fine. I'll admit I'm not 30. I'm actually 33. And I'm like, red flag. But your girl was acting like she was colorblind. So, anyways, long story short, I left that fly or whatever. And let's just say as weeks and time goes by, we're just getting more and more close. We're locked in. At the time I did not have a car, so anywhere that I needed to go that required a vehicle, he would drive me. And as a young girl, like, you're impressed with that. um Also, I remember when I first moved in to my apartment, I didn't have any furniture or anything like that. And he helped me to get furniture. Like, he bought the furniture. I didn't buy the furniture. He bought the furniture, and it was nice furniture too. So, at this point, I'm just falling head over heels. Now, don't come for me in the comments. I was young, okay? Don't do it, because if you come for me in the comments, you're going to get blocked. So don't do it. Keep your thoughts and your opinions to yourself. But yeah, like, at this point I'm falling head over heels because never had anybody like that. Like, I've never had somebody to come into my life and basically just give me the support and help that I needed, right? So we're just falling more and more in love in a short period of time. And so one day, I mean, next thing you know, we just find he's just always at my house, right? Even though he was staying with his mom was like 2 buildings away from mine, like my house. And at the time he was just always seeing me. Like, whenever he wasn't at work, he would come see me. So after a while, it was just like, you might as well just stay. Or, okay, first of all, let me back up. I didn't say that, but he kind of like suggested it, like, oh, why don't I give you half the rent and I stay here with you and it'll just be both of our place and whatever. So that's what happened, right? So I'm thinking, I'm just like, well, that's fine, I like being around you and I like you and you've been helping me, so why not? So he moves in. Bam. It's crazy because my dad, I remember to this day, my dad was just like, once I told my dad like everything, because I'm so young and naive, I'm thinking that everybody that I tell about this man to, I'm thinking that people are going to be happy for me because I'm so happy for myself. I'm like, finally, I found a real man and real love, and I'm getting the help that I needed because my ex, he wasn't trying to give me the help and the support that I needed, and now I'm getting that. Plus, I'm attracted to him. He's older, like, you know. So basically, long story short, my dad, he was just like, once I gave him the whole background of the situation, he was not happy about it at all. And I mean at all. He was not happy. Um so I just said, and he told me, he was like, you know what, this is not gonna work. I think this is my karma. It's not gonna work, you know, because at the time, I mean, Jay was working. Jay was working, but he was a felon. He had a felony, and he did tell me he had 2 kids. And he was older, and he already moved in, so my dad was just like, man, this ain't gonna work. And I was just like, dang, dad, you being a hater. So anyways, fast forward. I end up getting pregnant with my first daughter. And he wasn't upset or anything. Um he wasn't I mean, he didn't really say much, right? So by this time I was going to his mom's house, and I've already met his family and things like that. And at his mom's house, um I would always run into his stepsister, or she was introduced to me as his stepsister, which was his mom's boyfriend's daughter, like his mom's long-term boyfriend's daughter. But when I met his mom, she was like, "Oh, this is Jay's stepsister T," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And she was about my age, so me and T, we was cool, and we got along and everything at the time. I'm not gonna sit here and say like we were the best of friends, but anytime I seen her, it was just cool, right? So, I was like, okay, cool, I'm cool. Like, everybody seems pretty cool or whatever. And yeah, so fast forward, right? Around this time, everything is still going smooth. We're going on dates and doing things and stuff like that. Around, I want to say maybe closer to like Thanksgiving, Christmas, that's when things started to take a turn. So I started realizing I remember one particular night. That I was waiting up for Jay, and Jay did not come home. Jay did not come home. I'm stressing. I'm hoping that everything's okay, because like I'm just thinking like, dang, this is like the man of my dreams, and I hope he's okay. Like, I'm not even thinking like, oh, he might be with another female or nothing like that. I'm thinking like, dang, I hope Jay is safe. Like, you okay? Because I do know like he worked hard, and I do remember him like being tired when he got home from work. So I'm like, dang, okay, I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right. I'm calling his mom's house. She said he's not there. I'm looking out the window. I can't sleep at this point, right? I can't sleep. And so I can't sleep. And then maybe around 6, 7 o'clock, Jay walks through the door. And I'm like, are you okay? I was so worried about you, and this and the third. And then he was like, yeah, I'm okay. I was drinking and I just kind of fell asleep. Now, I did learn that whenever Jay would drink, he did fall asleep like super easily. So it was believable. I was like, okay, well, you shouldn't be like, try not to drink when you're out like that. Like, it's dangerous. Like, the way that you just fall asleep. Things, that was swept under the rug. Okay, whatever. Fast forward, I just noticed, like, fast forward, I ended up getting my car back from my dad because I didn't have a car because I let my dad take over my car note and I let him use my car. But once Jay came around and, like, I think his car got into like an accident or something, it needs to get fixed. So I said, okay, we need a car. It's cold. It's the winter time. Like, we need a vehicle. So I get my car from my dad. I get my car back from my dad. And then the way that me and Jay's schedule worked was he would go to work at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then he would get off. Like, he would leave for work at like 3, 4 a.m., and he would get off at like 1 or 2 or something like that. And then I would go to work from 3 to 11. So since we had opposing work schedules, um, and Jay needed a car, I said, you know what, you've been helping me. Why don't you go ahead and use my car? You can use my car so you can go to work, and then, I can get dropped off and you can pick me up back up from work. So that was our game plan. That was our little operation, our program. That was our program at the time. And I remember when Jay would pick me up from work, he would always stand outside with the door wide open, waiting for me, like as if he was like my shuttler. I mean, my shuttler, as if he was like my chauffeur or something. Outside the car door, as if he was like my chauffeur. And I was just so swooned by it. Like, I was just like, he is so sweet. Like, I never had anybody like this, and I was just flattered. So I just ate. I just ate it up, right? I just ate all that, all the charm up. So, anyways, mind you, I'm still pregnant at this time. And this is my first time pregnancy, and as time is going on, I'm getting sicker, 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 sicker. It's the first trimester, right? And it's the first trimester, and I was a CNA at the time, remember? So I remember constantly being sick when I go to work, and just not feeling well. So one day they asked me to like lift a patient who was so heavy. Like, it was like we shouldn't even be lifting him, but they wanted us to lift him, right? And I told them, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And the lady was just like, well, if you can't, then you just need to go home. So I was like, you know what? I will go home because y'all gonna have me killing my baby. Like, y'all gonna have me having a miscarriage if I'm gonna end up having a miscarriage if I'm lifting these heavy people. And so, I remember calling Jay and I said, hey, um, I'm quitting my job because they want me to do all this crazy stuff that I should not be doing as a pregnant woman. And so he was just like, what? You quitting your job? Like, what? When I tell you, I told him, I said, come pick me up because, my shift is about to be over. So when I tell you this man pulled up, right? Mind you, I'm so used to him standing outside the door and um just waiting for me, right? When he pulled up, this man was not standing outside. He was not holding open no door. He was pissed. So I guess, long story short, that kind of like turned him off or whatever. I don't need no more of this. So that turned him off, right? And so, moving forward, his whole attitude and everything just started changing, going downhill. The way he would treat me, like, he would still, like, be sweet, but he would do some, like, sneak shit. Like, he was continuing to not coming home for 2, 3, 4 days. I'm stressing out, not coming home after work. Like, oh my God. Like, and during pregnancy, this is like one of your most vulnerable moments, right? And you always want someone there with you because you're feeling sick. You're growing this little human in your body and you're going through all these changes, especially the first pregnancy. So he wasn't there a lot of the times and I felt so lonely. Like, even if I would call him, he didn't answer and we still lived together. But I was just too in love and I wouldn't let go of what he showed me in the beginning. So then, like, the not coming home, it just kept going. It was happening more and more often. And I remember one particular night, I was like, I'm finna pull a Maya and get in my car and start riding, trying to find this man. So I went around town. I didn't even have, like, no idea where to start. Like, I didn't even really know all of his whereabouts like that. I just knew his mom's house and then maybe one other place. But I didn't know where his baby mom stayed or anything like that. So I was just randomly driving around town looking for this man, like crazy. And this is like maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm on the highway, right? On my way back home. Do you know that this man called me? This man called me and he was like, "Where you at?" I was like, "I'm out here looking for you." And so, once I got home, that got pushed under the rug. And so, same stuff was just continuing. And so one day I was at his mom's house and when I was at his mom's house, I was talking to his stepsister. She was there. She didn't live there, but she was there. And I remember telling her, like, kind of like what I was going through. And then she was just like, "Do you want me to cuss him out for you, girl?" And I was just like, "No, it's okay." And she was like, "Let me know because I will cuss him out." I said, "Okay, well, go ahead." So then she called him. And so he just pulled up to the house when she called him. And when she talked to him, I seen him outside on the phone with her. And she was just like, "What's wrong with you? Why you doing her like that? This, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah." And so, you know, that was that. I mean, I didn't say nothing else about that conversation, or I didn't, we didn't go into that conversation. So that was that. And then so later that day, um, all three of us ended up going to, I think it was like Toys R Us, or not, maybe it was Toys R Us or Target or something. We went somewhere to the store together. That night, going through his phone, something told me was like, go through his phone. Oh, wait, let me back it up. So when we went to the store, we got drinks and everything. And I couldn't drink, but he was able to drink because, obviously I couldn't drink because I was pregnant. But he was able to drink and she was drinking. So fast forward, we dropped her off and we went to my house. And he knocked out, right? So as he was knocked out, I remember saying, "You know what? Let me go through this phone. Like, what is going on? What is it that I need to know?" So I go into his phone, and the first person I look for is his baby mom. And I'm just looking at the whole thread, and I'm just like, I don't even see anything. Like, because he always told me, like, it was a not so good relationship, but he would still communicate with her, for the kids. But I didn't see any, like, suspicious anything in the thread, right? So I didn't really see anything else suspicious in his messages, but I did notice, like, a lot of the messages were abbreviated. Like, not messages, but the names were like abbreviated. Like, it wasn't the whole name. It was like TL or T or whatever, right? So anyways, I didn't really have nothing on him, so I just never told him that I was going through his phone while he was asleep. So fast forward, me and him had a fallout, right? And then he told me that he was gonna move out. Like, he just moved out, right? He moved out and he left me to pay half of the rent. Like, he left me hanging without his half of the rent, basically. So he basically told me that he was gonna move back with his mom because, you know, what was going on between us. And so I ended up having to move out of my place because I couldn't afford his half of the rent because I was not working. Remember, I stopped working. And so I did move with my mom for a short period of time, but that didn't really go too well. So I ended up having to move with his mom, with him, right? So while I'm living there, I'm under the impression that we're getting back together because, you know, we're messing around and things like that. We're still intimate at this time. But I remember one particular day I remember, um, you know, we slept together and then we woke up in the morning. He took a shower and then he left. And I'm sitting at his mom's house the whole day because I'm pregnant. I don't have anything to do. I forgot. I think, you know, like, he was giving me money to take care of myself and stuff like that. But I wasn't working like that at the time. So, so I remember he took a shower after he woke up, right? So then he left and I'm at his mom's house the whole day. And I'm kind of low key waiting for him to come back cuz I'm missing him, right? So he comes back maybe like around 10 o'clock. And then when he comes back, he takes another shower. And so I'm like, why is he taking two showers? You just took a shower today. Like, why are you taking another shower? So he hurries up and goes to bed, right? And so I'm sitting up waiting. I'm sitting up thinking, like, why did this man come in here taking a second shower? Like, what was he doing? So something told me, take his phone, go in the bathroom, lock that motherfucker, okay? And go through that phone. So that's what I did. I take the phone. I open up the phone. I go to the bathroom. I take the phone. I go to the bathroom. I lock the door. And I'm going in. Okay? So I'll go in. Girl, you won't believe what I seen in that phone. You will not believe what I seen. You know what? And I was just so, my heart damn near stopped when I went into this man's phone. But you know what? I'm going to save that for part 2. Okay? Make sure you like this video if you want me to drop part 2. Because it gets even more juicy. Like, you wouldn't believe what I seen in the phone. You would not believe it. I've never seen anything like it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Let me know in the comments, like, what do you think I found in this man's phone? Let me know. But for now, make sure you like and subscribe. So I will drop part 2. I want to get this video at least. I want this video at least to. I'm just asking. I want this video to get at least 10 likes. If you can give me 10 likes, I'm gonna drop the part 2 of this video. Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one.